Auto lenders. They are absolutely transparent about absolutely everything. As New Jersey's #1 pre-owned car dealership for more than 10 years, Auto Lenders places every car through an intense 110-point inspection to ensure it's in like-new condition and lets customers know exactly where their vehicles are sourced from. Auto Lenders gives you the highest quality vehicles, unlike their competitors. And all this transparency helps Auto Lenders make sure you leave with a better car. For more information, call 888-305-5968 or visit www.autolenders.com. Keep My Office Clean is an emerging leader in providing office cleaning solutions in Morris County and its surrounding area. If you own, rent, or manage corporate space, then you understand that keeping the private and common areas clean and well-maintained helps create a pleasant and productive environment. Keep My Office Clean is one of New Jersey's top emerging cleaning companies, specializing in providing a wide range of services for your office space, including recurrent cleaning, carpet cleaning, floor waxing, power washing, and more. For more information, call 862-263-0626 or visit www.keepmyofficeclean.com.
You are listening to the New Jersey Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around good guy, Paul Valverde. Now, on to the show.
What's shaking New Jersey? Welcome to another episode of the New Jersey Business Podcast. Today, as special guest, I have Julia Vitality. Julia is a publicist and PR coach. She is also the host of Positive Impact TV, and she is also the publisher of Self Mastery Magazine. Julia, I know you're joining us from sunny Cancun, Mexico. Thank you very much for being with us today. Would you please share with our audience something about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, I am delighted to be on this show. I know entrepreneurship and personal development go hand in hand, so I'm more than happy to share some of the tidbits with those people who are in business and how they can use developing themselves to help them develop their business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julia. I really want to thank you for accepting the invitation to be a guest in the podcast. I think what you're doing through your YouTube channel in terms of showcasing what coaches are doing to serve other people and kind of just spreading that positivity, I think is super good, super great. And also your knowledge in terms of, you being a publicist and a specialist in PR. So will you please share with our audience something about like the mission or the goal behind Positive Impact TV?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, when I think of this work, I think of this one person that's going through a rough time, sitting at their computer, for example, or phone, and searching a way out of their situation. So, typing into YouTube or into Google how to deal with such and such situation, whether it's anxiety or breakup, or maybe they're stuck, and finding one of my interviews. And when they listen to those stories of these coaches and experts that have gone through that situation themselves and what helped them to climb out of that situation, and hearing that inspiration and motivation, it gives them hope. And I see that person's life transform and get better. Like that gets me out of bed. Even if it's just one person in the world that will improve their life from this bottomless well of knowledge that these experts and coaches offer, I think my mission will be accomplished. And I'm sure it's already accomplished. But I mean, the more people we impact, the better. And that's the whole idea about digital PR, right? I'm helping conscious entrepreneurs that have a mission, and everybody who is in business has some sort of a mission. They want to make this world a better place. They want to improve people's lives, right? So that's the mission behind my PR work, is to help them multiply their impact through the sources that are already there for them, digital PR channels. So I just teach them the ropes, how to use that to their advantage and create a greater impact in the world.
I appreciate you focus on people who may be going through a difficult time and may find one of your videos and then find some sort of hope or useful information. This podcast focuses on business. We talk real estate sometimes as well, but we never lose sight of the fact that we are people. we work with people. And you cannot compartmentalize your life. You can't say, oh, that's my work, that's my business, this is my personal life. Because if your personal life is affected, then your business is affected as well. Unfortunately, oftentimes entrepreneurs and business owners made the mistake to focus only on the tactics. It's like, just tell me what I have to do to make $100,000. Just tell me what I have to do to be successful. To tell me what I have to do to get more clients. And it really isn't so much of what they have to do, is who they have to be or who they have to become. And then in addition to just being that person, is knowing what are the steps that need to be taken, and also working with people who have more experience and more knowledge. So for example, someone who wants to grow from a PR perspective, they will seek guidance from you. You will help them and add value to them to guide them through the steps. Can you tell us a little bit about the type of services you provide regarding public relations?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, we teach people either in a course format or a one-on-one coaching what they need to have in place before they even consider going out there and getting themselves on camera or on somebody's blog or getting featured in a magazine or a book. You have to have some things in place, and that goes into your tactics things, right? So you need to have a system, some sort of a setup that you can bring people into. So when you're going and showcasing yourself and just talking and not inviting people to join your work with you, okay, they may be able to seek you out somehow, but if you don't give them an easy way to get a hold of you, then that time that you spent sharing your story is really wasted. So what you want to do is you want to have the tools and the mechanisms in place to, first of all, invite people to contact you by email. So you want to retain their email. You want to be able to get in touch with them. You want to have something in place that will allow them to learn a little bit more about you, whether that's a little free service, a little sample of what you do. Maybe it's a sample product if you're in a product type of business. And you also want to have an offer. So you want to give people an opportunity to continue working with you. So if you simply talk about yourself, that's not enough. Mind you, that is a whole big module as to how you talk, right? What's your setup about, video, audio, how you present yourself, confidence. That's a whole other module. But in terms of tactics, you need to have these things in place before you even consider applying to be a guest, because just being a guest doesn't get you anything. It's inviting people to work with you, making it easy for the people to work with you, having that clear call to action, knowing who you want to work with you, which goes back to even the elementary setup of your business. Who is your avatar? Who are you helping? Right? So this service, this course covers a lot of basics of business in general, right? Then we obviously cover, just like Toastmasters, we give you opportunities to practice. And that's where our channels of publicity also come handy. Once you're ready, let's say to write an article, we give you that opportunity. Once you're ready to be on the show, one girl that I interviewed, she was so nervous. She's like, Julia, I'm a podcast virgin. And I'm using that term now. I just love it. She was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. She was so nervous. So when we help you build that confidence, and then we help you actually practice. And sometimes it's necessary to hear the hard words. So from your peers, from other people that are going through the program, you hear what you need to work on. Because if you just keep going and you think you're shining like a star, but people can't even see half of your face, let's say your camera's cutting down, half of your face, or, some silly mistakes like that, you need to be open to that feedback. So the whole idea of coaching is being open to feedback, being open to growing, being open to improving yourself, because we cannot see the label on our own bottle. Somebody else can, but we cannot read it. Right. Mind you, that person may need somebody else to read their label, but that's the whole idea, right? And we also offer services like a done for you service. When you're ready to go out there and spread your message, we actually book your calendar, fill your calendar with appointments where you would be appearing on different shows and different digital PR stages. And all you need to do is just show up. So we offer basically anything from just learning the ropes to one-on-one hand holding to done for you service. And all of that is to help you impact more people.
Nice. So if I'm hearing you correctly, and I'm just gonna kind of summarize what I think I heard, is that you have the ability to teach people through a course, where there's different modules, and then they will go over different information from kind of having the right system and process before they even go in front of a camera or anything like that. So they have the infrastructure to receive those leads or those clients when they do come in, after they do get that media attention that they're seeking. You will prepare them to how to best handle those interviews, answer those questions, how to emphasize the points that they want to emphasize. Now, this comes in the forms of a course. This comes also in the forms of one-on-one coaching. And then you also provide done-for-you service, where I'm guessing you would find them those media opportunities so that they can prep them for those interviews as well. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And it will depend. It's a customized service, obviously, because not everybody wants to be on the same podcast. So we would identify your goals, what your business needs, where you want to grow, and your industry, your avatar again comes in, right? Because we don't want to be on the shows that have a different audience. If you're talking to parents, you don't want to be talking to construction workers necessarily, although some of them might be parents. So we really zero in on your ideal audience, and we go with the podcast and digital PR stages that have your avatar in the audience.
Right. So let's touch on that for a little bit. Just I know our audience is familiar with the concept of having an avatar or a perfect client or ideal client, but let's touch on that for a little bit, just for people who may be listening for the first time, or this might be a new concept to them. This is very important, right? So can you share with those people who are not familiar with having an avatar or having a ideal client, what is it that you mean by that?
Yes. So in every business, we want to know who we're trying to serve. So if you go with, let's say, regular brick and mortar store, you have specialized stores and you have department stores. Yes, of course, everybody needs, food basics and staples for their living, but most of the stores other than department stores out there are specialized. For example, Home Depot specializes on people who have a specific need. They're either renovating or doing some home improvement. So they're specifically targeting that avatar as a person, maybe even specific either gender or age or specific needs that they're solving. So Home Depot, in majority of cases, is targeting a man, right? Somebody who is doing the physical renovations on their house. Although, yes, of course, they would also serve women, but their ideal client is very strictly defined. So everything in the store appeals to the man. You would not see pink flowers in Home Depot, okay? It's orange hard hats. So everything about your brand reflects who you're serving. All your messaging reflects who you're serving. And if all of a sudden you change that, then you will see that all of a sudden your ideal client is no longer coming and somebody else is getting attracted to that. So the very first step in becoming an entrepreneur in general is to figure out who you want to serve, how you want to help them solve what problem, and what is the promise you can give them. What is the outcome of working with you or buying your service or buying your product, how it's going to improve their life, how it's going to solve their problem. Because this is really why businesses exist. They exist to solve problems.
Right. Thank you very much. That's a very, very good explanation. And folks, this does not mean that you will exclusively serve your avatar, exclusively serve your ideal client. This means that your message is consistent throughout to that ideal client or to that avatar, whether it is in the form of public relations or it is in the form of paid marketing. Now, this may also attract other people, and there may be other people who come to you seeking your services, which you will also serve, but you get a higher ROI, a higher return on investment when you zero in who you want to speak to, because then they will identify with your message and it'll be a higher quality, higher caliber type of client. So thank you, Julia, for explaining that. I really appreciate that. Can you please, you share with us what motivates you to get up every morning, what motivates you to excel, which is to help others, serve others, for people to find aid, find help. Can you tell me how is it that you got into this field? How is it that you got into public relations or even self-development?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Actually, there's a little bit of a story. I'll try to make it brief. So I come from a corporate environment, and I had a period of being extremely unfulfilled in that role or in that world in general. And I couldn't really find the strength to get out of bed. So your question of getting out of bed, I was questioning why am I doing this? I know I'm not meant to be doing this. I'm meant to be doing something bigger than this. I want to make an impact. And for a couple of months, I entered this state of deep confusion. It was like in a nowhere land. I wasn't there, but I wasn't somewhere else yet. So a coach friend of mine, when I talked to her and I told her about it, she's like, Julia, embrace this time. Out of this period of confusion will come the greatest revelations. She's like, don't rush it. It won't last forever. Just listen to yourself, listen to what your body and your mind are telling you through all this. So I'm like, okay. So the acceptance of that was first. Then I was, browsing, doing this and that, and I found actually a values assessment. And that basically gives you an outcome of that is top 3 values that you live your life by. And then the coach that does that, well, actually, he's a pretty big self-development, self-help guru, John DeMartini. He basically says, if your work is not aligned with at least one of these 3 values, then you're not going to feel fulfilled. You need to find some sort of line of work that somehow feeds at least one of these 3 values, ideally all 3, and ideally directly. But even if you can serve them indirectly, then that could work. For example, if you go to a corporate job to make money, but then with that money, you get to do something that's important to you, or maybe volunteer, then, that could be a link between the 2. But for me, it was actually pretty direct. When I evaluated those top 3 values, one of them was continuous learning and another one was personal development. And I was like, okay, this is exactly what's getting me out of bed every day. Even when I'm sick, I'm still learning. I'm still, following some people who are personal development advocates. And I want to share that with people. And I want to impact other people's lives, just like these big gurus are impacting my life. And, we've all heard Tony Robbins and some big names speak, and we feel so charged up and full of hope and energy after we listen to their speeches. On a smaller scale, this is kind of what I'm doing, and not even for myself, but for other, gurus or coaches or mentors or experts in the mental health field, in coaching field, that have so much knowledge and wisdom that even one sentence or one quote from them can change somebody's life. So when I do an episode and I record an interview with these people, I don't just feel like I just got a free coaching session, but I really hope that something in those transformational stories is going to impact that one person on the other end of the screen, and it's going to make their life better even by 1%. And this is what gets me out of bed. And this is what helps me do this work and find more talent and more conscious entrepreneurs, including business coaches, to feature, because these people are a wealth of information and we need to hear them and we need to learn from them.
Thank you very much for bringing up core values. It's so important. I couldn't say enough in terms of how important that is. When I reached a point in my life in which things didn't seem to make sense, kind of like you, and also identifying my core values, discovering my core values, because you don't get to choose them, you discover them. Everything started making sense. I could see how some people are attracted to me and some people are repelled, just because we probably don't have matching core values for those people. And also I started running my life with that knowledge of my core values, but I also started running my businesses in that way as well. I started hiring, I started placing ads that were core value, like it spoke to the core values that I wanted to highlight in people. And also I started hiring core value match people. I started also attracting clientele that was a core value match, and life just became better, simpler, easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like before it used to be like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do something like that? And now I understand is that they didn't do something wrong because it didn't violate perhaps their core value, but maybe it violated one of my core values. And so I perceived that as being wrong. Now, by trying to surround myself with core value match people, what I find is less of those instances in which I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? It's less of that. And it makes just everything more pleasant, more, you get more satisfaction out of what you're doing, because now you know your purpose, and kind of it simplifies life in a funny way. I don't know what method. Well, you did mention the method that you use for discovering your core values. I use a different method, and the idea was that once you discover them, now you need to phrase them or word them with simple words that a child could understand, right? And it's interesting because then I could talk to other people, and everyone knew exactly what I meant when I share one of my values. And even more important is that people, before I even share my value as being identified, they could see that in me as being displayed. So thank you, Julia, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. It resonates with me 1,000%. And I hope that it resonates with our audience as well. If any of you listening via podcast or even watching this in a video format want to know more about core values, how to discover your core values, the benefits of core values, please make sure to reach out to us, make sure to DM us, comment, and we'll be sure to bring you more useful information. Now, Julia, is there perhaps an anecdote that you may want to share with our audience, or perhaps something regarding talent attractions? I know you work with a wonderful team. I saw their photos. I read a little bit about them. Maybe there's something you want to share about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually goes well in line with what you said. Once you know what your values are, and once you're not shy talking about them, then people know who you are, and people who resonate to get attracted to you. And just like that, I attracted my team members and continue doing so. And all of the people that come into my, close world, they all share my values. In fact, the more we talk with each other, we find those commonalities, because I wear it on my sleeve. It's all over, my social media and everywhere. I don't hide who I am. I put it out there. I put my personal opinions out there. I like sharing daily reels with little gems of wisdom that I pick out either from the interviews I'm doing or from my own personal development. And one that I wanted to share is basically a matter of perspective. Okay. So especially in the business world, for entrepreneurs, it's very important as well. When something undesirable happens, or when you go through a conflict with a person, instead of focusing on what didn't go right, a good way to reframe it is to say, I prefer, and then you formulate it in your mind, the ideal outcome of that situation or of that conversation. So then you concentrate on that. So basically, I'm also a law of attraction coach. I'm not advertising that, but I'm a big proponent, and I include it in a lot of my work. But basically, you're telling the universe, you're creating a frequency of the desired outcome. So instead of concentrating on something that didn't go well, and if you continue doing so, you will keep attracting that same outcome or a similar emotion in your life, you refocus on the preferred outcome. Or you say, instead, I would like it to go this way. And you keep thinking about it and you keep visualizing it. You become hopeful, you become intentional, even if it doesn't happen tomorrow. But the more you do that with everything that happens to you, the more you put yourself in the positive mindset or positive frame of mind, and you will see your life will just change. It will change from being a victim to actually being empowered to create your life.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Julia. I appreciate you sharing that gem, that piece of wisdom about perspective. It definitely will make a difference for people who put it into practice, people who apply it to their lives. Julia, it's been such a pleasure to enjoy this time with you. Folks, I know that you will be rewinding this episode to the beginning and want to listen to some of that stuff over again. Definitely some good information, good stuff part of this episode. I appreciate you, Julia. We're going to be listing your information in the description of the show notes and also in social media. Folks, please know that there's a special offer for those who are interested, that you could book a call with Julia and get a free PR tip. Now, generally, this is a value of $97, but to the audience of the New Jersey Business Podcast, Julia is being kind enough to offering to do it at no cost. So make sure you take advantage of that. And once again, Julia, thank you very much for being in the show.
My pleasure. It was a great conversation, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, go to NewJerseyBusinessPodcast.com. That's NewJerseyBusinessPodcast.com. We can't wait to hear from you and your business. You can also visit our website to learn about sponsorship opportunities and how to qualify for a complimentary gift. Thanks again for listening to the New Jersey Business Podcast.
Auto lenders. They are absolutely transparent about absolutely everything. As New Jersey's #1 pre-owned car dealership for more than 10 years, Auto Lenders places every car through an intense 110-point inspection to ensure it's in like-new condition and lets customers know exactly where their vehicles are sourced from. Auto Lenders gives you the highest quality vehicles, unlike their competitors. And all this transparency helps Auto Lenders make sure you leave with a better car. For more information, call 888-305-5968 or visit www.autolenders.com. Keep My Office Clean is an emerging leader in providing office cleaning solutions in Morris County and its surrounding area. If you own, rent, or manage corporate space, then you understand that keeping the private and common areas clean and well-maintained helps create a pleasant and productive environment. Keep My Office Clean is one of New Jersey's top emerging cleaning companies, specializing in providing a wide range of services for your office space, including recurrent cleaning, carpet cleaning, floor waxing, power washing, and more. For more information, call 862-263-0626 or visit www.keepmyofficeclean.com.